Debbie with the Crafty Diamond. I hope that everyone is doing well. If you are new, welcome. So nice to have you. If you are not new, welcome back. I really appreciate all of you, and I'm so glad that you're tuning in. In today's video, I have another WIP chat. And if you're not familiar with what a WIP chat is, that is a work in progress or a WIP, and then I will chat a little bit. And I am going to be working on a diamond painting. As you can see, this one is really large. It is a 98 by 70 centimeter, and it's the House on the Cliff from Diamond Art Club. I've gotten quite a bit done, not as much as I was hoping to get done because I'm working on my Cauldron of Myrrh, but hopefully I will be done with that soon and will be able to spend more time on this one. So if you would like, get out your WIP and let's chat a little bit and let's craft together. I am going to pick a color. And I'm on this section here. I was hoping to have this finished before my WIP chat on this section and go to another section, but I haven't gotten it all done. So I thought I'll just go ahead and start where I've left off. And I have covered this with the Diamond Art Club release paper. And I usually half this release paper because it is very large, or larger than what I normally like to use. And I've been switching back and forth, going between the actual release paper and then also using washi tape. And I decided on this one because it is so large, I will just go ahead and I'll use the release paper. But now I'm kind of regretting it because I don't really like how the release paper looks. A lot of times what I'll do with release paper is I'll just have one or two pieces or one or two rows of release paper, and then I'll just move it up as I finish that row. But decided just to go ahead and cover all of it because I was having a little bit of problems with the actual cover paper on this one. And so I went ahead and took it off, and not really liking it, but it is what it is because it's already off. So I'll just have to work around that. But I'm really liking this. It's giving me, these colors are giving me fall vibes, which is what I really need right now. It is very cold here. It's like we went directly from summer and bam into winter. We had 1 or 2 days that I would say, uh-oh, I am just had some popping drills there. We had 1 or 2 days that was really nice. It was fall weather, really enjoyed it. And then from there, it seems to have just gotten colder, and it keeps getting colder. And the weather keeps saying that we're going to be back in the 70s, possibly the 80s, but it just hasn't made it back yet. So we'll see what this week brings, but it's been in the 30s and 40s in the mornings. We've had a couple of days that we actually had some freeze warnings. And for us in the South, that is very unusual. Usually we do not see this kind of weather until really November, and sometimes even the middle of November before we get such cold temps. And I am very cold-natured anyway, so this has just not been fun. And whenever it gets really cold, it's hard to describe. My husband thinks that I'm just silly, but my daughter says the exact same thing. My mother said the same thing, is that when I get really cold, it's like I can feel it down in my bones, and my bones hurt. And I have arthritis, and my oldest daughter does too. So I don't know if that is like an arthritis thing or if it's just a us thing or what, but it's just hard to describe how to say your bones hurt. And my husband just shakes his head and he says he just doesn't understand. So anyway, I've turned the heat on in the house, which we never turn our heat on this early, but it's just been so cold. And so even my husband, who is very hot-natured, he has even said, you know, it's time we need to have the heat on, unfortunately. And I know that the heat prices are going to go out the roof, but we're just going to have to do it because I don't want to suffer, and I don't want my daughter to suffer. And if he bundles up, he's fine. But even bundling up, I'm cold. I've gone to bed the past 2 nights wearing a hoodie and actually waking up in the middle of the night and I had my hood up on my hoodie. So, and we even have the heat on. So I don't know. I don't like it. But I'm afraid that we're going to just go directly into winter. And I love fall, so it's kind of disappointing. We finally have a couple of trees that I am seeing turning. The leaves are very pretty. But we're having more leaves that are just falling rather than having our gorgeous, fall flowers. We're just not seeing it. So I guess that I'm just going to have to diamond paint or go buy some really pretty flowers and make the house really pretty and have my candles lit and just have fall inside, because it's sure not showing up on the outside. And I've heard other people say the same thing, that they really haven't had much of a fall, that it's just turned off really cold. But more than likely, we're going to see the 80s again. That typically is what happens around here, is that we will see warmer weather, and then all of a sudden it'll get colder, but I'm not sure this year. We're even talking about going and getting some firewood, and usually we don't even have to think about that. Don't even build a fire until around Thanksgiving. And that's kind of pushing it sometimes. So I think we're getting ready for that too. And my husband builds the best fires. So that's one thing I do look forward to in the winter, is that he builds really good fires, and it just keeps the house really nice and warm, and it's so pretty and it smells so good. I just love the smell of the burning logs. When we bought this house, that was one of the requirements. I was all for just getting gas logs and, just pushing a button and I can have a fire. And he said, absolutely not. I am not doing that. I want a wood burning fireplace. And then last year we didn't. We were so busy after we had moved in here, we didn't even build a fire. But we've had our fireplace checked. It's good to go. So now all we have to do is go and get some firewood. And he has a truck, so usually we just go and get it, and instead of having it delivered, he just goes and gets it, and then he can stack it up whenever he gets home the way he wants it. So that's the one good thing. And then I like to decorate for fall, so that's kind of fun. And then we will not start decorating for like the holidays until after Thanksgiving. My dogs are in the house, and they're both playing and running around, and so you're probably going to hear a lot of background commotion. I hope not. They've been outside for a while. They love it, but I don't like keeping them out too terribly long, especially my smaller dog, because she gets so cold, and even putting a little sweater on her, it just doesn't matter. She comes in absolutely freezing. And I just had both of them groomed, and I think they took the oldest dog, she's a Shih Tzu. She's a half Shih Tzu and half Poodle, and so she is really tiny. And she's always cold. And so I'm afraid they took her down a little bit too low, but she grows really quickly. And my collie, they did such a good job on her. She was an absolute mess, and our groomer is just wonderful, and they just love her because apparently you don't see very many collies, which I'm kind of surprised about that, but every time we go somewhere, everyone just goes on and on because she's a collie, and they just love her. And she's so good with them. It's just funny how they say that she was just so good. She never barked. She didn't howl like she is known to do. And she was the best ever for them. Then as soon as we get her home, she just starts howling and barking and going crazy. But I think that was because she was locked up all day. Let's see. Excuse me. I probably sound a little off, my voice anyway. My daughter told me the past 2 or 3 days last week that there were some kids coming in at school that had really bad colds, and that they were there, and that they were coughing and sneezing, and you tell they didn't feel good, but they wanted to go to school. And so because of that, she started feeling bad on Friday, and I woke up Saturday, and my sinuses were bothering me. Now my throat's starting to hurt a little bit. It's just more dry than anything. So I have my coffee here. I may have to stop a few times and take a couple of sips. And my sinuses are really starting to bother me. So if my voice sounds a little off, I do apologize. But I wanted to get my WIP Chat up, and I have some other videos that I'm working on that I wanted to go ahead and do, just in case I started feeling bad in the middle of the week, or later in the week, then at least I have something up for you guys to watch. Let's see, what else? I spoke to my oldest daughter. I haven't seen her in a while. She's been really busy, and we have to. But the sad thing is that she lives less than 10 minutes away from us. And normally we would see each other at least once a week. But she's working full time. She's going to school. She's taking 2 classes this year, or this semester in college. And so she has been really busy. And so I just haven't really gotten to see her. We've been talking, and we're going to meet on Saturday. She wants to go to lunch and then go and get our nails done. So that's something we're going to look forward to. Hopefully my youngest will be okay so we can go. And hopefully I will feel okay to go. And I haven't had my nails done in a couple of weeks, and they don't look bad because I put clear polish on them. And I'm just debating if I want to do gel again. I mean, I know that gel lasts longer, but it's just not good for my nail bed. And then I hate the fact that with gel, it's so hard to get off. And then I have to make an appointment and go back and get my nails done. And so I kind of just, I don't want to have to go every week or every 2 weeks. And I did that every 2 weeks for the longest time, and I just got kind of tired of doing it. And then I just saw that my nails were starting to hurt, and then I see all of these different things on the news, how people are having issues with their nails or getting infections from these places, and that makes me kind of nervous too. But I cannot polish my left hand very well. I just have a really hard time. And then on the right hand is even worse, because my left hand, I had surgery on my thumb and wrist. And so I have a hard time even using my left hand at times. And so to sit there and try to polish my nails without getting polish all over me and looking really ridiculous, it makes it easier and just more convenient for me. And it's kind of nice to have someone pamper you. And I really enjoy doing that. But when I go, and I pay for my youngest daughter's, obviously, and then my oldest daughter, I always pay for hers because, she is working full time, but, she's young. She doesn't make a lot of money. And I don't want her to have to use her money on things like that. So I like to do something for her every now and then. Whether it's just give her some extra money, or take her and, take her out to eat, or to do something like that, or get her hair done, or groceries, or, whatever. And so that way, at least I am helping her, because she's trying really hard. And it's hard when you're young, even when you're not, it's hard being on your own and trying to make ends meet. She lives in an apartment, and apartment rent is just crazy here. I know that everything has gone up, but apartments, she's been there for 3 years, and her apartment went up $150 for this year. She went ahead and decided to renew for another year because she enjoys where she is, and it's a nice apartment complex, so I don't worry about her as much. I still worry, obviously, but I'm always going to worry, but I don't worry as much because I feel like she's safer there. but it is just so pricey for a small little apartment. Let's see. So Maddie is doing well. She hasn't been sick. Her and her boyfriend went to a haunted house on, let's see, I think it was Saturday. Her dad was supposed to go with them, and he actually paid for these tickets because apparently these tickets to go to this place, because it's one of the more popular ones in Atlanta, it is expensive, and so he bought some kind of a bundle, and then he ended up not going, but they went ahead and went without him because it was on a specific day and time, and so he told them to go ahead and go. And I have not heard how it was. Every year she says it gets a little bit better, and it's the same one that they always go to, and it's the one that I had mentioned in one of my WIP chats, where someone one year actually touched her shoulder, and someone that worked there, and it scared her so bad she flipped around, and she had a small bag with her, which is basically a small backpack, but it was a purse, and she just smacked them hard with that backpack, and they got really mad at her. But you know, they should not have touched her. They're not allowed to touch her, and so that was an ordeal. But that has not happened in a long time. But that's what they get, you know, for touching somebody like that, because you go through something and you don't know if that's part of it or if that's someone that's actually trying to grab you in the haunted house. I mean, you have no idea, and she didn't know. She just felt somebody touching her. She knew that it wasn't anybody that was with her. It wasn't her boyfriend, it wasn't her dad. And so, you know, she just hit him. And I would have done the same thing. So I don't know how this year went, but it must have been okay, because if there's any kind of drama whatsoever, then she will call me and let me know everything in very vivid detail. Sometimes when she tells her stories, I used to say, is this going to be a really long one? Because if it is, then you need to hurry up. But I have been better. I've been listening. And she's gotten better telling her story, so it doesn't take an hour for one little story. But she did not call me, so I'm going to assume that everything went well. She had a good time, and there wasn't any incidents. And my youngest daughter and I, we are very scaredy cats. We don't like to watch, you know, scary movies. We don't do haunted houses, anything like that. And so she was invited. Paige was invited to go, and I knew she wouldn't, but it's sweet that at least she gets invited, even though we all know she's not going to go. But it makes her feel good that, you know, someone thinks about her, especially her sister, because she really looks up to her sister. And she had no desire to go. And then whenever her dad backed out and said that he couldn't go, they called her again. They said, we have an extra ticket. Do you want to go? And she politely declined, which I'm glad, because she would have absolute nightmares. She watches anything that's not really scary to most people, but it may be, you know, scary to her, and she will have nightmares, and then I'll have to sleep with her, or I'll have to be up with her all night. She's gotten better with that. She watched Goosebumps one time, and she would not sleep by herself for a week. And it was just Goosebumps, which, you know, most kids, you know, it's a kid show, basically, for the most part. And now she's gotten to where she does like Goosebumps. She doesn't have nightmares. She knows it's all pretend. So that's nice. And she's been watching that. She did watch Hocus Pocus. I watched that with her, the first one. We have not seen the second one, because we just haven't seen that. We don't really get streaming. We get some, but not, we don't get Disney or anything like that. So we did not see Hocus Pocus 2. So I don't know how that one is. I heard it was really good, but she has seen Hocus Pocus 1 quite a bit. So we have watched quite a few movies. Since it's gotten colder and we can't really do anything else. We've gone to the park, and she got to swing and slide and just, you know, walk around. We took the dogs to play. That was fun. So we're trying to get out more and to do more in the yard and just to get out before it starts getting really nasty and cold. But I think that we may be a little bit late on that part. We are going to carve a pumpkin, or she is. Last year was the first year that Paige carved a pumpkin. We've always bought one, but their dad never wanted to carve it. He would just have them paint a face on the pumpkin or, you know, something, put stickers on it, and that was about it. And so whenever she had gotten older, she didn't express any interest. And then last year, something came up about a pumpkin, and she said that she'd never carved one. And so we went and bought a pumpkin, and I helped her, and my husband helped her. And he let her actually carve it. And she did a really good job. She thought it was a lot of fun, except, of course, she didn't like the inside, having to get all the inside of the pumpkin out. She thought that was really gross. But now she's mentioned again that she wants to do a pumpkin this year. And at first she said she didn't want to. And so I told her, I'm not going to buy a pumpkin. I am not going to buy one. And then I'm the one that has to carve it. If you want a pumpkin, then you're going to have to carve it. And you're going to have to tell me that you're going to. So now she is telling me that she wants to carve a pumpkin. And there is a church that is close to our house that sells pumpkins. And they're doing it to make money for a mission trip. And so we bought a pumpkin from there last year. And their pumpkins are a little bit pricey, or they were last year. But because it's for a good cause, we don't mind. And so we're going to go and get her a pumpkin today, if she's feeling better. And then we will carve our pumpkin. And we probably will not have any trick-or-treaters next week. We had one trick-or-treater last year, and they weren't even in from our neighborhood. We really don't have that many kids. We live in a small cul-de-sac, so we don't have very many kids that come to our neighborhood. But we thought last year, we didn't know since we were new here, we thought we'd go ahead just in case. I'm looking for what color I want to do next. And we are going to buy, I think, maybe one bag of candy. We bought 5 bags last year, just thinking that we would have trick-or-treaters. And we had all this bag of candy left. I took it to work, told my students to take it home, and they took some, but not much. So I am not doing that again because I had so much candy left over. And we just don't eat it. My daughter doesn't care for it. And if you can hear, that is Molly Grace. She's my 2-year-old collie. We still think she's a puppy. She still thinks she's a puppy. She's trying to get my oldest dog, who is 12, almost 13, trying to get her to play. And she's not having any of it. She wants to take a nap, and Molly doesn't want her to. So that's what they're barking at. She's trying her best to get her to get up and go play. Usually they take a nap about now. I thought this would be the perfect time for me to do my WIP Chat. And then she wakes up. I am just absolutely loving these colors. I mean, these are just so, so pretty. Let's do that little N. But this one's going to take me a while because it is really large. Where is that? And I'm still not sure what all these colors are, my drills. I have them in DMC order, but I'm going to try something different. I have these in DMC order, and I'm still having to look and see if I can't find some of these drills. And now she's tearing up something. I hope it's nothing important. I'm in my craft room, which is kind of a scary thing to have them in here. Because with Molly, we keep buying her bedding. I bought her several beds in the past 2 years, and she just destroys them. I bought a dog bed when she had just turned a year, and I bought it at a pet. It was a pet place, and they told me that this was indestructible, that it's guaranteed. It was a rather expensive bed, one that I normally wouldn't buy, but they told me that, you know, it was guaranteed, that the dogs would not tear it up. They didn't know any dog that could absolutely be destructive with this bed. So I bought 2 of them. The very next day, I took the bed back up there in a large garbage bag that was one of those lawn bags. Took it up back to Pet Play Place, and I said, you know, you said this was guaranteed, and she said yes. And I said, what part of the bed do you want? I had all the stuffing, and Molly had destroyed it in less than 24 hours. So after that, I've been buying them really cheap beds, so at least they're not on the floor in their crate in their little room. But she just tears things up. She's gotten better. And it's really funny, she doesn't bother shoes or anything like that, but if it's any kind of bedding or, you know, blankets, pillows, doesn't have to be hers. She sees them and she just rips into them. Which, I don't know, I think that's very strange. I've never had a dog that was like that. My last collie, she was 18 months whenever we had gotten her. And she was from a shelter. She had already had puppies, and she was very settled down. And so I thought, oh, well, I want another collie because collies are so nice and tame. Well, I don't know if it was because she had already had her puppies, or it's because of the life that she had had before we got her, or what, because she was like the perfect dog. We go and get this one, and she is just wild as can be. But she's a really good dog. And thinking of animals, my cat is an inside cat. And her name is Salem. I've talked about her before, but she's the first cat that I've ever had. So I don't really know that much about cats, but I just kind of learned from her, even though she is 7 now. But it's really weird because this time of year, she likes to look, all the time anyway, she likes to look outside. And I've had some people in the past ask me if she was, you know, for sale, because she's a black cat and with it being Halloween. And so that makes me really nervous. So we don't let her out anyway. She is strictly an indoor cat, but we had a porch at one of our houses when she was younger, and it was on the back part of our house. And so I had to really watch, and we had the door locks and everything, but I always worried that somebody may come up there and get her around, you know, Halloween. But she's such a, she's a good cat. She doesn't tear into anything except for our couch. She has torn the side off of our couch, and our couch was new. It looks awful, but I don't want to buy another one, and then she tears into that one too. So I need to figure out what I can do. It's the only thing that she scratches on. She doesn't like her scratching post. She uses our couch as a scratching post. So if I buy another couch, which we want to, or get this one covered, she's going to do the same thing again. So I don't really know if there's something that I can buy to put on our couch so she doesn't tear into it. I've even sprayed it with this stuff that they said that cats absolutely hate and they would stay away from it. It didn't bother her in the least. It did for a very short time, and then she just ignored it and she scratched on the couch. So if you have cats and you have a suggestion on that, we do keep her nails cut. We don't do it. We take her to the vet and they cut her nails for us because we're kind of scared to. But I just don't know what else to do about my poor couch. Let's see. What has Paige been up to? I'm trying to think of family. Besides her being sick again, she has the absolute worst immune system. And I've taken her to allergists. I've taken her to specialists, our doctor. And nobody really seems to be concerned about her. Or they just tell me, you know, you make sure she is on allergy medication and she's on nasal spray. We do that every day. But it doesn't help. I think it has something to do with her immune system and not just allergies. So I'm not sure what to do about that either, or any kind of testing besides having allergy testing, which we've already done. And that wasn't that bad. It came up a couple of things, but nothing major, not even really enough to have allergy shots. And so she's always sick when she goes out around other people. And especially more so at school than anything, she's always coming home from school sick. She'll be well for a week or two, and then she comes home and she's sick again. And this time hasn't been as bad as it has in the past. But it's still, I just hate that she's sick all the time. And I know that's not good for her. I hate for her not to feel well. I am changing colors a lot on this. This canvas is very confetti heavy. And I don't mind it. I like confetti. But if you're wanting to sit and try to get something done faster, this is not it. But this one is going to be so pretty whenever it's done. Let's see, what color do I want to do now? Let's do, and there are 62 colors in here. And when I get to the next release paper, the next section, I'm going to be working on part of the little cabin. So that's going to be fun. Right now, this is just the path that I am working on with all the flowers around it. Let's see. Trying to see how many minutes. Okay, I'm still good. I want to make sure I was still recording because it looked kind of funny. And it's happened before where it just stopped. And I was just talking. And then realized that I wasn't recording anything. So I try to go and check that every now and then. Let's see. My husband has been very busy at work. They finished their annual inventory, and so they came up with 100%. So he did not have any inventory issues, didn't have to do any research, and so he was ecstatic about that, because they have millions of dollars of inventory that he has to account for, and it was all there. So now he can kind of rest easy, knowing that that's been taken care of. So that's one less thing he has to worry about for the end of the year for work. And he still has several days of vacation that if he doesn't take by the end of the year, he is going to lose it. So he's looking to see when he can take vacation. He has to coordinate vacation with his partner at work who takes off more often because he has small children and he wants to take off around Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so normally Dave would take off almost the whole month of December on his last job, but he can't on this one. So he's trying to figure out when his partner is going to be taking off. He always lets him decide when he wants to take off around the holidays. Since we don't have small kids, we don't go out of town. And so Dave is nice enough to where, you know, he says that he wants him to be able to enjoy his family and his kids. And then they usually go out of town too. So we're just waiting to see what he's going to do. And then Dave's going to take some time off. And when he takes time off, we may end up going on a short trip to the mountains or to visit my family. We're not sure yet, but we have to wait until the semester ends for me and when Paige is out of school. So it'll be nice to be able to go and visit. I haven't seen my family, my dad and my sister and stepmother in a long time. And so we would like to, for the kids to go. It may be too much for Madison and her boyfriend to go. Too much company at one time. We'll have to wait and see. We don't stay there. We stay in a hotel because they don't have enough space. But my stepmother is not well, and so we don't want to have her anxiety up because if it's too loud, you know, or whatever. So I have to talk to my sister about that and see what we're going to do. But it's hard to believe we're already thinking about Christmas. I've already told my kids, you need to make me a list of what you want. If you're on, you know, for anything on Amazon, you can put it under the wish list. And you can just let me know if it's not Amazon of what you want. My oldest usually just wants money, but I like to give her money plus something else. And so my oldest always contacts, or my youngest always contacts her boyfriend, my oldest daughter's boyfriend, and she will ask him what games does she want. And so we'll order that. Because she is a gamer. Both of my kids are gamers. But Maddie, my oldest, more so than the youngest. But they both really enjoy, you know, gaming. And I have absolutely no idea of what either one of them would want. Now that they've gotten older, it's really hard to buy for either one of them. Paige is a lot easier to buy for. Since she lives here, I know, you know, what she likes. I know the kind of clothes that she likes. She's not picky. I have not bought clothes for my oldest daughter without her being there or going and picking clothes out since she was like 12 because she is very, very picky on her clothes. And whatever I purchase, I know she wouldn't like. And, you know, I was the same way with my mother. I still am kind of that way with any kind of clothes. I'm just kind of picky on what clothes that I like. So I know how she feels about that. So I don't like to wait until the last minute to buy things, especially the way that shipping has been lately and supply chain. And then with my family, I usually just give them a gift certificate somewhere because it's harder to mail, you know, certain things. And I don't know what they would want either. So that's really, you know, hard. I feel like it's impersonal to give gift certificates, but I just don't know what they would want, what they need. And I would rather let them buy something that they want and enjoy than just to buy a gift that they're just going to throw over to the side and not be able to use it. So how do you do gifts if you give to anyone? Do you ask them what they would like, have them make a list, or do you just buy something or give gift certificates or money? I'm just really curious what others do. When my mom was alive, I knew exactly what she liked. She was so easy to buy for, but my mom and I were very much alike. So I knew if I liked something that she would too. So I would buy something for her, but knowing that it's something that I would also want. And so that was very easy. She was always very, very easy to buy for. I could even buy her clothes and she would have been happy. But my mom loves any kind of Christmas decorations. That was just her thing. She had some beautiful Christmas decorations that unfortunately I did not get any of, and I am the only child. But her Christmas decorations were left whenever they moved from Louisiana back to Arkansas with the expectation that they would get them back from someone that was holding them for them, and they never did. And she was really, really sad. So I always think of her when I see Christmas decorations anywhere. And I guess that's why I like Christmas so much, because I think of her, and that was her favorite holiday. And so I try to buy something every year that's new for Christmas. Let's see, now I'm on F. I hope you guys don't mind me changing colors so much. I hope that doesn't bother you. I know that some will watch when I diamond paint, and then others like to just work along. And usually whenever I listen to a WIP Chat, I will work on something, and then every once in a while I look up. But most of the time I am diamond painting and listening. And it's very enjoyable for me because it feels like I'm actually diamond painting with someone else, even though I may not know that person. But it's just really nice because you're doing the same thing, or not even the same thing that's necessarily a craft. Sometimes I will listen to content creators that are knitting or they are stitching, and I know nothing about either one of them. But that doesn't matter because I just like to listen to their stories and what's going on with them. And so I'm still crafting with them. Let's see. Anything that's happened with me this week? This past week was very busy at work. It's really unusual for everything to happen at once, but lately it has been. For those of you that don't know, I am a college professor and I teach accounting. I know that whenever I say the word accounting, a lot of people cringe, but I love accounting. I hate math, but I love accounting. And last week on Tuesday, we had a company-wide meeting, and so I had to drive about an hour, and it was going towards the north, and I was able to see some of the fall leaves changing. They hadn't changed very much. Of course, now I've been told that it is absolutely gorgeous in that area. It just, like overnight, it just hit, and it was really pretty. But I was there all day on Tuesday, and when we have these company meetings, it's twice a year, and it goes all day, and we usually don't get breaks. And so I'm used to getting up and moving around off and on during the day, and I was just worn out by the time that I got home and having to sit in traffic and drive for an hour on the highway, which I don't ever have to do, very, seldom anymore. So I was just really tired last Tuesday, and that took the whole day. And then so on Wednesday, I was playing catch up with my work. And so I had quite a bit of grades that I had to do, I had to post and review. And then I had another meeting on Thursday that I had to prepare for. So that kept me really busy. And then on Friday, I had an observation from 3 international women who were from Germany. And I was concerned about that because I didn't know how they would be perceptive to, my class with it being accounting. I wasn't sure about language barriers because I assumed since they were professors that they probably were a little bit older. And I didn't know very much about them, wasn't giving any information. And so with my doctorate being in international business, I just assumed that, they probably didn't have a really good background, in English or especially accounting. But they were very sweet, very, very nice ladies, very cordial. They spoke perfect English. They had a little bit of an accent, but not much. And so we had some time after class, and they were telling me how their colleges, their university was set up in Germany and what it was like to teach in Germany, and that they really didn't have any online classes, and they were very excited to learn more about how we handle online. And so I think we're going to have some exchange students, that we will have some U.S. students taking some classes at their university, and then we're going to have some German students taking classes through us. And I think it's going to be online. I'm not really sure. But we had just a really nice conversation. They said they enjoyed my lecture and how my class was set up. They asked me a couple of questions. And so it was really fun. It was something that I haven't done in a long time. I used to work for a startup school, and they were global. And it was different because it was a U.S. school, but it was owned by an Egyptian man, and he lived in London. So I learned so much working there. It was a very difficult job because I had so much to do and so much to learn, but I learned so much about different cultures, and especially through him, because even though he was born and raised in Egypt, he had so much of a global background, and he was very interesting. He was different. I would not want to work for him again. I'll just put it that way. But I did learn so much. And so I do value my time when I was there. And I met a lot of people. But because of that, I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of understood, what questions to ask them and, what to expect. And it was just a really nice experience. So that kind of made my week. I was nervous all week about it, and I shouldn't be. I don't know why I get that way, because I am definitely an introvert. I don't like small talk, but when it comes to teaching and getting in front of my students or in front of others, it doesn't bother me, because I know my material and I feel like I am the expert in the room on that material. So I'm okay in the classroom. I'm not nervous at all. I enjoy being in the classroom. But when it comes to just like small talk and going out in public, and I get kind of nervous and my anxiety kind of heightens just because I don't know what to say. And then if it's really noisy, different places, then it's just, I get overloaded. I have to just step back and just kind of go into a quiet place. But it's just really funny because I never thought that I would be able to teach because of that reason, and it doesn't bother me. So once they got there, it didn't bother me at all. I was just a little anxious during the week, thinking, what am I going to cover? What's going to be interesting to them? And I kind of changed my lesson plan of what I had already prepped. It was in the same lines of what I was doing, but it was a little more on the level of what they might understand. So that was really good. And then this past weekend, I kind of diamond painted. Sunday, I diamond painted quite a bit. I did take a long nap on Sunday because I was just exhausted, did not feel well, and thought I better go ahead and just take a nap so I'll be okay and can go to work on Monday and the rest of the week. And especially with it getting closer to us wrapping up the semester, I just cannot be sick right now. That is just not going to happen. Let me know what you would like to see or different things you would like me to do on my channel. I have been unboxing. I have plenty that I can continue to unbox. I do want to kit up. I don't kit up every week, but I have some small of the discount company paintings that I'm going to be kitting up. I have one that I'm going to kit up this week because I can work on those on my lunch hour. And the larger ones, I don't want to have to schlep those all the way into work. I'm already having to carry my laptop, plus I have a work bag that has things in it, and my lunch, because we don't have any place around there to eat. And I don't like to eat out a lot anyway, especially for lunch. So I'm going to take some smaller ones, and you'll be seeing me kit up those, like the 30 by 40 size. And then I'm going to start going through my stash. I've got to get that organized so I can find things better. I have some really old kits, and I just can't find whatever I need. I would like to do an event next year where I'm hosting the event, or at least co-hosting. And so I have spoken to Kim with Kimba's Crafts on that, and so we haven't made any definite decisions yet. We've talked about it, so we'll just have to see how things go with her and what all's going on with me. So we'll see. I'm just not sure, but I would love to know what you would like to see. My channel is growing. I would love to have, more subscribers. I'm happy with what I have. I was a little concerned because I was looking, at other content creators, and some that had just started like 3 or 4 months ago. They've already hit that magical number of 1,000. And so I just started thinking, well, maybe my channel's not very good. Somebody's knocking on the door and she's going crazy. I think it's UPS. They're just dropping something off. So I was looking at other channels, and then I was feeling a little sorry for myself. Not really sorry for myself, but I was a little concerned, I should say, because I thought maybe I don't have the right content. What is it? I have a lot that are looking and viewing, but they're not subscribing. And so I really want to hit that 1,000. I was hoping to before my 1-year anniversary. And I probably will not at the rate that I'm going. And I thought about it more, and I'm okay with that. It's like, I am me. I am not trying to be anybody else. I'm not trying to make a living off of my content. It would be nice to hit that 100, so that way I could start monetization. But I am okay with it. Let's see, I have just put the wrong color in here. I will worry about that later. Okay, I'll just have to remember what I did. Okay, this is looking so pretty. I just love this. I will have an update probably by the end of this week on this one. Hopefully I can get more done, but I just love the way this path is coming up. These are the best drills ever, which I'm really excited about because on Cauldron of Myrrh, I have had some issues with that one, and which has slowed me down. But this one is the new drills and from Diamond Art Club, and this is just absolutely perfect, especially to be a square. I am going to end it here, especially with them starting to bark. I don't want you to have to listen to all that screeching, and I don't know if I can tune that out or not enough whenever I go to edit. Probably not. But I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did and you'd like to see more content, please click on the subscribe button, and then also if you would click on the like button, that does help to get my videos out, and I will have more videos this week. Please let me know what you would like to see from me, and so I can go from there. Thanks so much, and until next time, happy diamond painting. Bye.